What's up, Rayquazers? So I got a tournament match here, and me and my opponent are both using a rain team, strangely enough. Rain is probably the most common weather, though, so I guess it makes sense. But for the comment question, we'll just ask you guys, what's your favorite type of weather? And you can say no weather if you prefer no weather, but let me know in the comments. That'd be pretty great, pretty epically awesome, and yeah. Why don't we just go ahead and get this match started? So I'm facing Irving, in case you guys didn't know who he was. And I'm going to lead off with my Deoxys D as he leads off with his Skarmory. Both of us predicting each other's weather leads to start the weather, but I always figure my opponents are going to lead off with their weather if they have it, so I don't ever usually lead off with my weather in that case. And so I have Magikarp because I'm a freaking pro. And bounce back the Stealth Rocks, look at that, and then I taunt. Maybe he was predicting me switch out, thinking his Skarmory would switch out, but that's not going to be the case. I figured earlier in the match it was good to just go for the standard plays, pretty much. And so I set up a layer of spikes as he's forced to switch out, because if he had gone for Brave Bird, he would have been taking a lot of damage from the Rocky Helmet I also carry. And so I go for the taunt, because I wasn't sure if he was going to go for Parasol, and I know Parasol would break through a Magikarp. And I don't want that, so I am going to go for the taunt just to get rid of that. And he goes for the Scald as I go for the spikes. And he does that much damage because I really have no investment because, well, first of all, Deoxys D has enough defenses as it is. Without investment, I'm HP and speed investment. So I go for the Magikarp in case he tries to go for the Toxic, figuring, you know, maybe he'll try and out-predict me. And I go for the Recover as he goes for the Scald. And amazingly, he has not gotten burn hacks all this time, which is actually insane, because Scald's burn hacks is like 90%. I know it's only 30%, but it seems like 90%. And so he's going to try and encore me into something as I go for the Thunderbolt. But if he was going to encore me into something, maybe I could have, you know, taunted him. And he's going to Toxic my Starmie, which doesn't really matter because of Natural Cure. Starmie could go ahead and get rid of the Toxic anyway. And so this, I go ahead and switch out, expecting him to, like, switch or something, but he goes for the Protect, I guess seeing if I'm going to stay in or switch out. Doesn't really matter, because, you know, this Alakazam carries Energy Ball, and Alakazam just pretty much runs rampant on his entire team, and I know you've seen this particular Alakazam in both matches. I apologize for that, but like I said in the previous match, Alakazam is just kind of my filler to a lot of stuff. So he's going to go for the Fake Out. And I'm like, okay, well, that didn't do too much damage. And I'm going to actually try and out-predict him because I figured he'd go for the U-turn. So I thought it was a good time to get in my Choice Specs Politoed. But he goes for the Last Resort. I haven't seen a Fake Out Last Resort Ambipom in so long. And he gets a crit, which sucks because, honestly, probably my Politoed would have survived the Last Resort. And he goes for the Last Resort. It does a fairly decent amount of damage to Scizor, but I'm not too worried, because I am the bulky dance set, so I'm feeling pretty safe right here. And he's going to go for this Last Resort, and I'm like, you know, I can roost up, recover, but guess what? He's going to get another freaking crit, so I lose my Scizor. And now I'm like, okay, I'm not playing around anymore. We got a freaking Brainium Metagross, going to go for the Meteor Mash. It's going to be a one-hit KO. I might get a potential attack raise as well, which would be nice. And I go for the Meteor Mash, and guess what? Freaking miss. Like, okay, so that's like 3 hacks in a row, and I was honestly kind of afraid that I was going to get hacked out. But I do get the crit with the Bullet Punch, because I was going to go for the Bullet Punch and hit twice instead of missing with another Meteor Mash. So I am going to switch into my Deoxys D, because I don't really have a use for Deoxys D too much anymore. And he is going to go for the Earthquake, and guess what? I live. This wasn't supposed to be Death Fodder, but I live. And I go for the Taunt, just because I don't want him sending up any subs or anything. He's going to go for the Earthquake. And Death Fodder is successful, which means I can safely get in something like a Starmie that has Ice Beam to threaten out this Gliscor. And he goes into Skarmory, which is kind of weird because it's still neutral damage. And I thought he was going to try and bait me into, you know, like a Thunderbolt trap. But I decided to go for it anyway because, I mean, I'm still faster than the Gliscor. Because, yeah, Starmie's pretty freaking fast. And basically now he's going to put in a Roserade, and I was like, okay, I should be able to do a lot of damage. Maybe Oko it, but I'm not entirely sure on that. Don't Oko it, unfortunately. that's all good because I needed something safe to switch in anyway. And Alakazam is my best bet because Alakazam can still do insanely massive damage to Gliscor. I do lose my 4 times effective Ice Beam, however, which is disappointing because now I have no 4 times effective against Gliscor. So I go for the Psychic. It is going to easily KO that Roserade because that Roserade was less than half health. Now he brings in his Gliscor and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to Psychic this, why not? And he tries to go for a substitute. I guess he thought he was pretty much dead anyway. So he thought, what's the point of going for an Earthquake? But honestly, he should have gone for an Earthquake, not a substitute. That was a bad play on my opponent's part, and it cost him his Gliscor. Now Raiku's going to come in, and I figured I'd easily Oko it with a Psychic, considering that took out almost half of its HP. But I looked up the damage, and guess what? That is a freaking min damage Psychic, and he gets the paralysis on the Thunderbolt. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Thunderbolt only has like a 10% chance of paralysis. But guess what's going to happen? And you'll laugh at this. You really will. So he's going to heal up, and unfortunately I don't believe my Metagross can take it out with one Bullet Punch, so I was kind of hoping that he didn't get a crit or paralysis, and I didn't get Parahax. So I go for one Bullet Punch, and doesn't quite KO like I expected. And I get the Parahax, so I was hoping I didn't get Parahax screwed because that would really suck. That would cost me this tournament match win. I fortunately break through the paralysis and win the match. So that is going to be a good game. Insanely high amount of hacks. Let me know in the comments your favorite weather, and I'm actually going to add 2 comment questions. What Pokemon with what abilities do you think should have happened? Like, for example, I think Starmie should have had Regenerator, because first of all, it says in its information thing that it can regenerate a limb as long as the core is still intact. So really, Starmie should have had Regenerator, not Analytic, which is kind of weird. So let me know what ability you think should have gone with what Pokemon, because that would be exceptionally interesting to hear. I mean, clearly we can't change what Game Freak did, but I mean, it'd still be pretty interesting to hear what people think, like Starmie with Regenerator, I think, because it does say in, like, I don't remember what it was. I think it was Heart Gold or something that it said that it can regenerate limbs if it loses it, which is pretty fantastic. And yeah, another weather match. I'm going to try and get less OU matches soon because I know you guys are probably getting sick of them. I'll probably try for some UU matches in lower tiers. Again, still working on that Smoking database, so I should have that out fairly soon, hopefully. But comment, like, and sub if you haven't already. As I've previously mentioned, comments are really nice to hear the feedback. And likes really help me out, as I'm sure you're aware, and subscribers as well. I love seeing more Rayquazers. So see ya!